Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night. You can hear me? Can you hear me? So today we have to talk about the root chakra and in the physical aspect, so that would be the genitals. So today I sorry. So today I wrote in the blog a little bit more about the concept of the process, but focusing a little bit more in the aspect of the trauma. So the issue we are going to discuss today is basically the traumas. So trauma comes from the Greek word trauma, that means wound. So we all had lived in our life some traumas, and we had some wounds from the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, and the physical aspect. So we all have these wounds in our history, and they are very important because they made us what we are. So yesterday we spoke about the whole process that we go through, but today in the blog I describe the most the beginning of this process, which is being chewed by the teeth, and the opposite one, which is to the part of the excrement. So remember that yesterday I spoke that life is like the process of digestion, but the first thing is the first part of this is when you go to the mouth and when you are chewed by the teeth. So that's the part when your self is being molded by the genetics, by your family, by the most closest ones that shape your body. So we all know that that mostly by nature we are supposed to be born through the vagina, and the vagina has like these two lips through where the baby is being born alive. So if we take the digestive system as the of life, so we would have these two other lips in the mouth through where the holy meal, the food, will come inside and become an individual. So the first thing that we do is to bite the food, the aspect of the whole, to take a tiny part that we will call an individual. So of course that the first thing that we are going to leave when we begin the process of life would be the lips of the mother and then the tongue of the father. So by the shape of the two organs, you will picture also the genitals, the other organs. So in this way, the mouth will represent the feminine aspect through where life is beginning to the process, and the masculine aspect will be the tongue with the phallic shape. So the individual will be separated from the whole by the bite. So this will represent that is the beginning of my personality, who I am, okay, an individual from the other one. So this is why the first teeth are the ones that you you usually show when you smile, when you are angry. These are the ones that shows the others who you are. So once I had divided myself as an individual with personality between my mother and my father in the mouth, then I start the process of being chewed by my ancestors, grandmothers, grandfathers, and all the rest, biology tree of life, that will cut myself in pieces. So, so the process would be kind of like this. Once you start the process, that once you are being created, so you are just one cell. So now this cell must be divided into many. So it creates the organs, it creates the muscles, the bones, the structure of the body until you have created the body. So the body is just the division of all these parts, and each part of this has each part of this is the the history of your own ancestors, of your tree of life. So each one of the ancestors has something to give to. Okay, so each organ, each part of the body will have an attribute of those ancestors. So if we relate that with the separation of the being, we can recognize that every tooth is an ancestor that is going to shape and divide myself, my being, so it could be created as a body in the separation. So, so this means that when you are being born or created life, each one of the different aspects will be divided so you could experience your whole, your potential. Okay, so the question would be why a spirit would want to be divided. So the thing is this: the spirit is one thing that has a whole information, but it cannot see the details of that information. So the only way in which it can picture, understand, and work with each one of the process of the aspects is by dividing it. This is why, as we said yesterday, you need to digest an information when you don't get it. When you don't understand, you need to digest it by separating the different parts and understand the different parts. So the process of life is basically the spirit trying to understand what it has within to experience its own potential. So basically the teeth, what they are going to do is to separate and divide each one of the aspects of the self, so then in the path of life could be better seen, so we could experience it, each one of them by separate. So we have to recognize that what we used to call the process of chewing, so the teeth dividing the food, is what we in our lives call meiosis and mitosis, which is the process through which the cells starts to be divided. Okay, so they create different organs, muscles, and at the end, our whole body. So what we are a divided aspect from the whole, and expressed in different aspects, so we could experience each one of our potentials. But as I said before, what we have to understand in order to accomplish this process is that we need the pressure of our biology, okay, by mitosis and meiosis. So basically, we have a picture to understand about this is that the genetic codes are like the pressure that our being is receiving from the tree of life, from each one of our ancestors, in order to divide us and to form ourselves to be who we are now. So for many people, we could say that this is why even before we are supposed to be born, we can call this process a trauma, because it's very traumatizing to divide the essence into many parts. It's like a wound. So basically, when we start to live, we are not only receiving the pressure of our ancestors and by genetics, but we also receive the pressure of the family, the partners, friends, culture, school, work, everything, the whole world. And all that world is in the teeth. So when we bite, it's a way in which our body makes us remember where are our traumas. So let's picture this. In our life, even if we are in a very traumatic process, in something that it's hurting, or also in and also in the ecstasy process, we would relate this with our teeth. So one of the things that we used to do when we get mad, from very long time ago, billions of years, is this. So basically, the reason why we do this, like with the teeth when we get mad, is because billions of years ago, when we were only animals, we used the teeth to attack the animals that were trying to attack us. So we have in our body, our biology, the remindings that when we show our teeth this, is because we are trying to protect ourselves. So we are saying to the other one, attack you. So the teeth are the tool that we use to show us humans, be aware, I will attack you, stop, or you can come, everything's good. So what we do is that when we put this face of be careful, I will attack, but when we smile, is because I'm showing that you can come. So the teeth are showing us in our life the way in which we are reacting through thousands of years of pressure and traumas, and also our comfort zones. So one of the things that I have to pay attention to is if I don't like to show my teeth, if I chew very hard, if I chew when I sleep, what happened to my teeth? How do I use them? What are the problems that I have in them? So when I bite a lot, when I make a lot of pressure with my teeth, is because in my subconscious I have a trauma that is not healed yet. So Um, so you are trying to protect yourself, like from that. So basically, to try to understand your teeth and the problems that you have in your teeth will help you to understand the traumas that you live in your life. So remember that trauma comes from the word wound. So the traumas are those pressures that our environment has done to us to separate our parts, and it's all this pressure that we receive to shape what we are. So one of the things that we have to recognize is that this is a natural process. It's normal, and we shouldn't wait for the universe to just make disappear the suffering of the world, because the universe doesn't understand the suffering of the world. And I'm going to explain why now. So first of all, we have to understand that suffering is not a system. Suffering is a choice. And it is a choice because it's our actions that takes us to the suffering. It's not the universe creating a system of evil. So this means that we are the only ones able to transform the system of suffering into a system of pressure. There's no need to suffer. It's an election, it's a choice. The suffering is something that happens because the cycle is repeating once and again. Something is repeating it once and again. And to understand why this system is constantly repeating, we have to go to the other extreme of the system, which is the place where the poo is created, the excrement. So in the other extreme, we have the excrement, which I don't know the words for English. Well, of course, that you may say poo, shit, and those words. But in Spanish, in Latin languages, it says caca, that comes from the word kakos in Greek, and it means bad, something that is bad. And something that is bad. And also in the Latin words, shit is merda, which is the origin is from the Slavics, all Slavic language, which is smrd, that means smelly, that smells bad. So this represents everything that was bad, okay? Everything that we didn't use. Okay, so the bad things of the body are the ones that we have to excrete, so take away from the body. So there's a lot of people that in the process of life, through the digestive system of life, they were not able to express their truth, their reality, their inner power. So they start again the same process. They repeat the cycle. So basically, this means that the poo, the shit, is going to the plant, and the plant creates the flower again, and then the fruit, and the fruit is eaten again, and the cycle starts all over. So in this process, we used to call to name groups of people like good people or bad people, and that bad people, we used to call it the shitty people. Okay. So here we can make the question, and this is why I was explaining this before, that why we as a person, as a child, as a kid, has to live so many traumas. If you said that we are the responsible of what we have created, the choice is ours of the suffering, and you may say, but why the children has to live this, and why the children are living this? But this question is very short, because you're just thinking that life is from the moment you are born till the moment you die. And I guess that we all here know that this is not like this, that life keeps going. Life is a lot big. So remember that when we ask ourselves why I had to leave that, remember that you were once the compost, because you did all the process and then you came back as food. So this is the process, constantly, never ending. So the process would be that the only way in which you can get outside this cycle, constant cycle, is when you, in the process of digestion, you realize yourself that you can transcend the trauma and use the trauma as a tool to build yourself. Is the moment when you recognize that everything that you have lived, every trauma that you have lived, has a meaning, because it helped you to be what you are. So you changed the whole system. We used to think that the bad things that happen to us in our life is because there are bad people or shitty people in life. So why these people are like this? Because they are in the process of the intestine and they don't accept their inner power. So the moment where I set myself free from this is when I realized that all those bad people that I had in my life, they gave me the compost to nourish the plant that I am, to flower and to create my fruits. So if I am not able to transcend that and to understand that I have to become a flower to create my own fruits, so I will also become poo. So this is why the task of today is to think about and to write down each one of the traumas of our life, the bigger ones, and try to understand them as the compost to create our own projects in life. And I repeat myself, yes, even the worst things. So I know that many of these things are very heavy, and many of the things that maybe happens to you are very strong and horrible. But the truth is that the one that is suffering is the victim. So there is a law in the universe that if you want to keep going, to transform yourself, you have to transform what is making you suffer. It's a law. You cannot move forward if you don't transform the anchor that you have behind. So the only way to stop suffering of this is by stopping being the victim. So suffering is a concept related to the root chakra, and it's something that is related to the root chakra. And sorry. So the body is the one that recognizes the suffering by survival. It needs to survive. This is why it's related with the root chakra, because it's survival in this planet. So the body interprets the suffering as a clue for being a victim of anything. So usually from the subconscious, the unconscious, or the conscious, the body will feel like victim of something, okay? Because the key of the body is to survive. So anything that will represent a physical or an emotional pain will be interpreted by the body as victimization. So what I have to do is to change the idea of the victimization, so I can use the energy of suffering for something else with a different focus. So the basic thing that we have to do is to face the trauma, to understand it, and to picture yourself in the present, trying to understand that you have survived, that you are here, and that what can you do with that power of having survived the trauma. So remember that the easy example of this would be the wound that you have from the first time you were trying to ride a bicycle. In order to so you realize now that you know how to ride a bicycle, and the scars that you have, the wounds that you had, are the clue to let you know that you are able to do what you do now. So basically, to face the trauma is like going back to the moment and look at the wound to the eyes, and thanks the wound for what I have now. I know how to ride a bicycle. So for that, I have to identify what was my trauma useful for in my life. So this is what the task for today is to write down your traumas and to give them a meaning and a purpose for you today. As much I face the traumas, as much I heal my traumas, and I give them a purpose, I start to set myself free from this. And through the generations, suddenly, suffering won't be necessary anymore. So, four difficult things to say. I'm sorry. Thank you. Siento, perdón. Gracias. I'm sorry. Lo siento. ¿Cómo era? I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. ¿Cuál es el otro? And forgive me? Yeah, forgive me. Okay. I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, thank you. Like Ho'oponopono. And that's how we start to go outside this circuit. The sound of today is the vibration So. The statement for today is I am a grid of creations. The code for today is the soul pattern Ra. The one that makes has a goal, and it requires planning, which implicates thoughts. The Ra sound is the pattern that was heard in the cosmic thinking, creating the plan to accomplish its goal. Critical and discerning thinking that delivers um, sorry that delivers wit and gives the gift of doubt. At the same time, activates the beliefs patterns that are inherent in history, beliefs that determine families, groups, cultures, nations, states, philosophies, and religions. So let's go to the root, to to the to all the traumas, pains, and things that are there, stuck there. Let's bring it awareness. I begin to stretch the body, to yawn. I make a tiny massage to the body. Now I let the weight of the body fall down. Pay attention to your breathing and feel the oxygen coming through your nose towards the lungs, heart, blood, organs and muscles. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to fall down within, looking for a cell. Picture it bigger and bigger as your body, until you feel it in front of you. Take a deep breath and go within the cell, feeling yourself floating in the cytoplasm. With your hands, take the chromosomes in the core of the cell and start to separate it until you feel the chain of DNA curling in your fingers. Recognize that they are the codes that makes you be who you are. Take a deep breath and recognize that you are in a mother cell within the womb of your mother. I am an egg. watch over me, and I feel the light of the I Am coming towards me in a spiral within the shape of a spermatozoid. I perceive how the spermatozoid touches the egg, changing its polarity, making it shine as a sun. Take a deep breath and allow the light of the I Am to come within in the shape of a spiral, coming down through the crown, the third eye, throat, heart, plexus, and from there its genetical material starts to be spread through the sacrum, the root, knees and feet. I feel how through meiosis my cell starts to divide into two. Myself, I, here, and in front of me, the I am. Perceive how this cell starts to divide in 4, 8, 16, and so on, until the cells starts to create organs, muscles, bones, my entire body. I feel the cells creating my heart, my brain, stomach, intestines, lungs. And I start to perceive my feet, legs, hands, arms, and head. I recognize the pressure of biology, genetics, and life. And I become aware of the pressure that I will receive in the life I'm heading to. I become aware, heading to the light, that all this pressure is the one that will help me to activate my potential. I start to sense the sound activating the potential of each one of the creations that forms me, of this reed of creations that connects my whole body. Through the sound, recognize the pressure pushing outside. I begin to perceive how my crown is outside in the light of the outer world. Now my head starts to pull outside. Neck, shoulders, arms and hands, back, chest, stomach and waist. My hip and genitals, all outside in the light of the world. I recognize from now on I am a grid of creations. I am the grid of creations. I am the grid of creations. And all the pressure from the world is the energy I will use to create. I take my hands to my heart. I recognize that every trauma, every pressure that I have received in my life are the energies that I will use to nourish the flowers, to blossom, and to create, for I am a grid of creations. Take a deep breath and begin to bring through all your body this awareness, caressing, stretching, and yawning. And come back here and now opening your eyes. So something for you to know is that as we eat, biting with our teeth, the place from where we receive the energy around is through the joints in the jaw. And all the energy from that, when we are with a lot of energy, we will feel it vibrating, that is coming out from my teeth, vibrating. So we have here a hole where the energy comes in, and another hole down there, the anus, through where the energy goes out. So from this one, I assimilate the energy, absorb the energy, and from the other one, I affirm the energy. So are the two doors, conducts that must be in balance. So this is the beginning and the ending of the digestive system of life. First, I absorb the energy to create what I am, and then at the last spot, I affirm that energy in who I am. So thank you for being there, for being part of this path, and see you tomorrow for Nice. Bye.